Hi, this demo demonstrates how to ingest large data at scale with application integration. We are using MongoDB as a data source, but this pattern could be applied to any connector or API supported by application integration. Here is the overall concept. We use an asynchronous orchestrator-worker model to efficiently transfer large datasets. The orchestrator is responsible for initiating the job and keeping track of the overall progress. It starts the data movement and triggers the worker processes. The worker handles the actual data transfer in manageable chunks. It pulls data from the source and uploads chunks to Google Cloud Storage. This process is recursive and sequential, as the worker will call back the orchestrator, mentioning the next page to ingest.
Start by creating a cluster on MongoDB with the data that you want to ingest. Here we have 1.7 million records containing Salesforce data. We'll be syncing only the accounts collection. Next, we're creating a new connection in the Integration Connector service. Select MongoDB and fill in your connection settings. This is an example of the configuration we are using for this demo. You can find information regarding your MongoDB host in the connection string by clicking on the Connect button on MongoDB.
You can start from the template provided for large data ingestion. This template contains the logic described before, and you can also use it to implement this logic on another connector, such as Salesforce or HTTP. In that case, you would use page tokens and pass the next page token to the next iteration, in the same way that the MongoDB example uses page size and page number. Now, let's start the job. For a full sync of a MongoDB collection, you begin with the Initiate Job API trigger. This will count all the documents and launch a full sync to GCS. You don't have to specify the total count, as it will be calculated later, but you do need to review all other parameters. The workload input defines the job parameters. Collection is the name of the MongoDB collection to be synced. Page size sets the number of documents per page. Page no is the starting page index. Sort by determines the sorting order. Job ID provides a unique identifier for tracking, and notification emails specifies who receives the final email notification. Here we are ingesting 1,765,000 accounts, which is about 6 gigabytes of data. Check out the logs to see the ingestion progress. In case of failure, you can replay the sync from the last successful point, as the workload variable keeps track of the position and all other parameters needed for the next iteration. You can check the result of the ingestion job in the GCS folder you specified as input. Feel free to modify the nomenclature of your files by adding timestamps and a page ID, or even the job ID you created for this operation. This will help you debug in case of failure. As a next step, we encourage you to create a sanity check to verify the consistency of the output files. If your final destination for this data is BigQuery, check out the BigQuery jobs to easily transfer the raw data into your destination table.
Thank you for your attention.